Today we're gonna talk about why you don't have the pump that you used to have. Without further ado, let's get started. Hi, my name is Stan Subev and I'm the bodybuilding philosopher. The first thing we have to talk about is water. Many people think they have enough water, but they don't in fact have. Especially if you're living in colder climate, it's a lot more common to forget to drink water. On the other side, you may be drinking enough water, but if you just purely drink like a tap water or a mineral water or a purified water, you may be flushing too much of your electrolytes out of the body. This is why when the people are running like marathons or ultra marathons, they are actually replenish electrolytes with something different in the form of gels like a Gatorade and things from that nature. So if you want to make sure that you are properly hydrated, then 8 glasses a day of water should be sufficient, but my advice, it will be just pick 1 gallon of water in a jar and just move it with you everywhere, and then you will know that you actually have that amount into your body. And eventually try this for a day or two. If the pump is coming back, probably this is the reason. If not, maybe it's some of the other things down the line. The second thing I want to talk about, this is electrolytes. I mentioned it in the first point, but let's go a little bit deeper. The electrolytes, specifically potassium and sodium, are very important for the contraction in the body. If you want to have good contraction, good function, and in general to be alive, even you want to have very good balance between potassium and sodium. There is something in the science called sodium-potassium pump. It's related to how the sodium and potassium change places from in and out of the cell. When you have a lot of potassium into the cell and the sodium start coming in, then the potassium is going out, and vice versa. In some cases, like with people that are taking a lot of steroids, this is very different. That's why they have crazy pump. Most of the sodium is going into the cell and double the amount of potassium is going out of the cell. This gives this crazy burning sensation. So if you are out of steroid cycle, or you are pretty much drinking a lot of electrolytes and flushing all the sodium and potassium out of the body, this will be one possible reason. As I said, try tip number 1 and start from there, but it's something definitely you have to look for. The third thing we have to talk and consider is your training too heavy. These days is very popular programs like power building or just simply powerlifting, and in general, if you are somebody that just starting out with the gym, it's very common that you are using too much of a heavy weight, or at least heavier from what you can actually handle. If this is not the case, maybe it's just for a certain muscle group you don't have good, or let's say perfect mind-muscle connection, but for this we're gonna talk about a little bit later. So if you're training on the heavier side, or if you're not sure, one way to check about this is at the end of every workout or every set, specifically when you're doing heavier sets from probably 5 to 6 to 7 reps, you can try throwing in one set of 30 reps just to make sure that the pump is there. Here is the very good place to open the discussion about, is it the pump necessary for the muscle growth? There is two schools of thoughts here. One will tell you, no, it's not important. Progressive overload, like mechanical tension, metabolic stress, we all know this song. But the bodybuilders for the last 100 years really were applying the pump, and this make a lot of sense. First of all, even if it's not producing the result we are looking for, it gives us very good sensation and feel, or the way how Arnold was saying it, you know, every set I feel like. Aside of that, and if the pump is still not around, maybe we can try to do one pre-warm-up set. It's not necessarily like a working set, but something to about 10 to 15 reps. You can do 2 to about 4 sets without failure or anything. For example, if you're doing legs, you can start with hamstring first, throwing like a 4 sets from 12 to let's say 15 reps, just to push and actually to suck blood into this muscle to warm up the kneecap, the thighs, the legs. And one, you're gonna have a lot better feeling how the thighs are working, but also you check if there is a problem with the pump in the legs. I'm saying the legs, usually the legs have the biggest problem to get the pump. It's a big muscle group, it's far away from the heart, it's very hard to engage. People don't like to squat or to do too much of a squat. If this is the case, again, watch the video till the end where we're gonna talk about mind-muscle connection and you get it. The fourth thing is glycogen. This is a little bit related to the upper ones, but it's mostly related to how much carbohydrates we are having and more specifically how much we are breaking down to glycogen. The glycogen is substrate that is stored mainly in the liver, in the muscles and into the brain. It's specifically the preferred source of energy for the brain. So if we have a lot of work to do, if we have stressful job or stressful event, stressful week, or if we have to study a lot and at the same time we are trying something like a keto or fasting, maybe with the training and probably with high intensity training in the end, maybe we are just causing the level of glycogen in the body to be so low, so therefore there is not enough water into the cell because as we all know, every gram of carbohydrates, of glycogen, it will pull up 3 grams of water with it, and this is where the pump is coming from. So take this into consideration as well. The fifth one is insulin sensitivity. This is very important, but I will try to be brief. So you have two positions, high insulin sensitivity and low insulin sensitivity. Let's break down what each one means. When you have low insulin sensitivity, this simply means that the amount of insulin that it has to be secreted from the body should be a lot more. On the flip side, when you have high insulin sensitivity, it means the body needs to produce very little amount of insulin to push the nutrients into the body, into the cells, more specifically, and to produce result. The end result of having low insulin sensitivity for too low can be diabetes. So keep in mind, when your insulin sensitivity is low, you have these sugar crushes, you feel that you need to have sugar, you don't have the pump in the gym, and you have whole another set of problems over there. On the flip side, if you have low, sometimes high, other times it simply means that your diet is not balanced enough and you probably have to sprinkle the carbohydrates for the breakfast, before and after workout, and the rest should be just protein and fats, for example. We're not going too deep what exactly is high insulin sensitivity, but we will just say that if you want to improve it and if you don't have a pump and you notice some of the things I said, few things you can try fasting for a day or two and to go to the gym and see if this situation improves. You can go eating more vegetables and not so much refined carbs to check if after 2 or 3 days the pump it's not coming back. And also, fun fact, too much caffeine also can cause crash and alternate how the body is using glycogen, and possibly can be the reason for not having great pump. So low insulin sensitivity, high insulin sensitivity, and probably too much coffee. How much is too much? Probably more than 5-6 grams of caffeine a day. It will be way too much. You will be jitter and eventually the metabolism will be alternated. But let's now move on to the most important one. The last and most important thing I want to talk about is mind-muscle connection. Listen, mind-muscle connection. Mind-muscle connection. I know it's a cliche, but it's very important. The more you train, the better mind-muscle connection you have. Here, I will contradict myself talking about the high reps if you are searching the pump. If you are just starting out, it will be very good idea to start a little bit with powerlifting, probably for half year or probably for a year, just to establish this mind-muscle connection. At that stage, you are not actually going to feel it, but what's going to happen is your nervous system, it will be very efficient to contract as much neuron paths as possible to make your body move as one whole unit, which is the goal of the powerlifting. Then after this stage, and when you move to just simply bodybuilding, higher reps, more volume, you have very good mind-muscle connection as a result of that. Fun fact, I noticed during the last 30 years when I've been training, if somebody have very good genetic with like rounded muscles and looking beautiful, even when they just start out, they usually have very good looking movement pattern and they have very good mind-muscle connection. The opposite is also true. For people like me that really build every millimeter or every inch from the body, like piece by piece over the years, even over the decades, I can tell you that when I at certain point start feeling the muscle will start growing. For example, I have no problem feeling my biceps, and that's why the bicep grew the first 2-3 years. With the shoulders, this is not the case. I have a lot better mind-muscle connection, but it happened and developed over the years, and even now they are still lacking compared to the bicep. This is topic for whole another video that eventually it will come to the channel, but developing mind-muscle connection is very important thing. And here I want to tell you something that you can do out of the gym if you want to improve this mind-muscle connection. Especially if you want to train shoulders, you can try this simple trick to connect your brain to the working muscle. When you go to bed, try lying on your stomach, like facing down to the pillow, and from this position just try contracting your shoulders. Don't be surprised if your left shoulder, for example, you can't contract, or if you're riding ladders with the left one, you will not be able to contract the right one. In the beginning it will be very frustrating, but with the time you are going to find this path, or more importantly your brain is going to find it, and soon you will notice how the muscles that were not able to feel before, now it's like a piece of cake. If you find this information helpful, give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We have just 8 subscribers. Let's be part of something bigger. We are going at least to 1 million. And with that, I'm signing out. Bye.